In this video, we're going to go over how to set up conditional formatting so you can automatically color code your data as you put it in. If you missed the video on how I set all of this up to start with, that's our previous demo data sheet video that'll go through the process of that. So you can see in this one over here on the side, I've just laid out a very basic key for our color coding. Yours does not have to look exactly like this. Far below, below, on grade level, and above, just a 4-point scale. I use for the colors, I usually use pretty light colors. I've found that when you color code things and make the colors really, really dark, what happens is you can't see the numbers or letters that are inside those cells. So especially when you project it and you're trying to look at the data with a group, you can't actually see what the data is. So I like to use very, very light color coding on that, but that is just a personal preference. So here's our data sheets. We have two different classes on this particular data sheet, and you can see the teacher has put in most of their data. Data can take different forms. For example, running records are put in as reading levels, which are letters. iStations is an assessment that puts out data in a scaled score. And in either case, to find what letter or number corresponds with far below, below, on grade level, and above, you're going to need to consult whatever that testing tool is, their benchmark cutoffs. They'll have a chart somewhere, probably on whatever website you're using or manual you're using, that shows for each part of the year what scores correspond with being on grade level, below, or above. So I'm just going to be kind of making up some cutoffs here, but you'll want to actually look and consult whatever tool you're using to find the actual cutoffs. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some rows, because there's some things we're going to do later with this, and I forgot to add them. I need to actually add 3 rows to each of my classes. So to do that, I'm going to just highlight 3 rows, and I'm going to click and go Insert 3 Below. That'll give me 3 rows here. I'm going to color code these as well to be a little bit different. You're going to see why in the next video, but it's important to do that now. And I'm going to go down and do the same thing to this class. Now this class already has rows here, so it's just a matter of color coding it, drawing borders around it. This is where we're going to eventually be adding proficiency information for each class, so that's going to become more clear in our next video. All right, so now I'm ready to put in some conditional formatting. So let's see, let's start with beginning of the year running records. So I'll come to my menu, I'm going to scroll down to conditional formatting. Okay. So the first thing it's going to ask is apply to range. So I'm going to click here to select the data range. And I want to be real careful here just to select this space. I don't want to select these cells that I've added. And I'll say add another range, because I also want to select this whole class as well. And once I've got all the classes in that row selected, I'll click OK. All right. Now I'm ready to start. So these are the format rules. It's a drop-down menu here, so you have a lot of options. Because this is a letter, I'm going to go with the text contains option. So format cells if text contains. And let me say, I'm going to set the A, so if it's a level A, it's going to be below grade level, so I'll set that as red. And you can see it's automatically doing it as I set it. Then I'm going to scroll down to add another rule. So then I can just change it to, okay, if text contains B, that's going to be just a little bit below grade level. Add another rule. If text contains C, that's going to be on grade level. Oh, forgot to change my, there. And I'm going to say everything E and above is going to be above grade level, but that means I need to do a different rule for each letter above. And I'll just, so F, Let's do G. Probably not going to have any kids get above a G, so I'll click done. So I can see all my rules here already, just in case I need to go in and edit them. Looking over here, I see that I've missed a letter. It looks like I've missed D. I didn't set the level for D. So I'm going to select this one, and then I can just click add another rule. And how embarrassing, I forgot a whole letter there. Now I can click done. Now I can glance over it and see. Now the good thing about this is you can set this before any of the data is actually in. Excuse me. And that way, as teachers are putting it in, see if it's blank, it'll go back to white. As they put it in, it automatically color codes it for whatever rule that you have set. So coming back over to here, now let's color code these iStation scores. So just like before, I will say click to get my menu. I'm going to go to Conditional Formatting. Now these are numbers. So first I'm going to set my range. Get this guy out of the way. I'm going to set first class, add another range, scroll down, go to the next class. If I had more classes down here, I would just keep adding ranges, but because I just got 2. With numbers, I have some different options. I can go down to, and I can use greater than, between, or less than. So I'll say if it is less than 120, less than 135, then we'll say that is far below. Add another rule. Okay, so I'll say if it is between 136 and 280, then that's going to be below. Add another rule. Say if it's between 281 and 400, that will be on grade level. Add another rule. And then for my final one, I can just say if it is greater than 400, I'm going to set my color coding to be above grade level. So again, you can see as these teachers come in and add more grades, it will automatically color code them based on the rules that you have set. So that is the quick way to set your conditional formatting to color code for your assessments. It takes a little bit of time to do it on the front end, but once you get it set, it makes the rest of the year a lot easier. Now, I would set each of these differently. So I, of course, come back to middle of the year, and I'd have to set the conditional formatting for that as well. However, many assessments, the benchmark cutoffs change throughout the year. So again, you'll have to consult whatever tool you're using to see what the actual scores are that show proficiency at the different points throughout the year. In our next video, I'm going to show you how we're going to use these cells that we've added to calculate proficiency rates, and then how we're going to take that to build some really cool graphs to visualize our data.